Hey, this is Joe from SoFly, and in this video, we are going to export WooCommerce orders using WP All Export. So to get started, we'll go down here to All Export and select New Export. Then from the pull down, I'll select WooCommerce Orders. And this is all of our WooCommerce orders, right? 5,700 of them. And let's say we wanted to just export orders from, let's say, April of 2022. So I'll create a filter here. The element I'm going to filter on is the order date. And then we'll say equal to or newer than April 1, 2022. Then we have to add another rule here. So order date is going to be older than May 1, 2022. So we have 486 that are newer than April 1st. And this is going to be all of our orders that are in April. So if we wanted to, we could migrate the orders to a new WordPress site. In this case, we are going to customize our export file using drag and drop. So this is the default that we get. You can see here, this is what my CSV is going to look like after I export it. I can rearrange these. So now order key is going to be the third column. I can get rid of one of these, and I can just change the column just like that. So that's now order number and title. Now I don't need the title in there, but what I do want is, let's say I want to add the order total, right? So we just drag and drop that from our available data, and you can see there's my order total. Now let's say I want to add in some of my customer data. So I have all of my order data here that you can see. For example, let's say put in my order date. Let's check that out. There's my date, but it has the times on there. I don't really want the times. So let's edit this, and I can change my order date information just like so. So we'll save that. And there you go. You can see here, I got the times out of there. Okay, so that's all my order data and an overview of some of the features for WPL export. And now we have our customer information. So let's put our name in there. We have our billing first name, billing last name. But let's say I want to combine these into a single field. So we'll go down here, we'll go to add field, and then we'll select custom export field. Go to customer, drag in our first name, drag in our second name, add a little space, and we'll just call this name. And we'll save it. Let's preview. Perfect. So we've now combined these two fields into one. Pretty fancy stuff. Okay, so let's check out the rest of this. So we have more of our customer information here. We can add in their billing email address. Just change that. We're going to have billing information off of there. So just call it our address or email address. And then this is all of the actual items that they've ordered. So let's put in the SKU and the quantity. Preview. There we go. Now you'll notice here that we have multiple order numbers on different rows. So we kind of have some duplicate order information. And that's because in this order, they have two products. They've ordered two separate items. Now down here, that's where this is being driven by. So display each product in its own row. So if I disable this, now each order is going to be on its own row. And then if they ordered multiple products, like this person did, they ordered two, they're going to be here, SKU 1 and SKU 2. This person only ordered one, so this column is going to be blank, right? So there's a couple different ways you can handle this. This is going to have each product on its own row, but the information is not going to be filled in. So for example, this order number has two products, right? So it just depends how you want to have your orders exported. And then here you can change the CSV separator. So down here, this is our CSV. We're going to be exporting a CSV here, and this is going to be the separator that we use. We could change it to tabs. So now it's technically a TSV. It's a tab separated file. We'll keep this as a comma. So now it's a comma separated file. If we wanted to, we could export this to Excel, or we can export this to XML. Now we can also use a custom XML feed if we wanted to. So what this is going to do is we can actually write the actual data that, the actual XML feed that we want to create, right? We can do all sorts of weird stuff, like SKU equals, like this. So we'll take that, SKU, product ID, SKU, like this, and then delete that. And of course, this is all fucked. Then we can just kind of clean this up. I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's preview that. And there you go, right? So this would be our custom XML feed that we're setting up. Anyway, we have some videos on this. There's so many cool things you can do with XML exports. Check out the description below, or just check out our channel. We have tons of videos on this. In this case, however, we're going to just be exporting our CSV. So that's about it for this export. So let's continue. And this is our export settings page. So here we have our scheduling options. So we can set this export up to run, for example, every Monday at midnight, right? This service from automatic scheduling, this automatic scheduling service, this costs $9 a month. The reason for that is we actually have servers running that will contact your site, run the export when you want the scheduled export to run, and then make sure it actually finishes. Now you can set that up yourself and avoid paying the $9. So you don't have to sign up for automatic scheduling. You can just use cron jobs. Check the description below. We have videos on how cron jobs work. It's not the simplest thing in the world, but it's not crazy. We have some documentation you can read on it as well. Cron jobs are pretty common in web development, and they're pretty easy to set up. But again, if you just want to, click and have it set up here, automatic scheduling, $9 a month, the way to go. All right, so that's our scheduling options. And then we have some other ones here that are pretty interesting. You can choose to export each WooCommerce order in real time as they're completed. So real-time exports, very powerful. If I set this up, basically every time we get a new order that's completed, this export's going to run, and it's only going to export the data from that one new order. When you combine this with something like our Zapier integration, you can do tons of cool stuff. So you send that order data to Zapier, and then you can email it out automatically. You can send it as an HTTP post somewhere else. You can add it to Dropbox. You can do all sorts of weird stuff. Send it to MailChimp, whatever you want to do. Super powerful. Very cool feature. You can build all sorts of cool stuff with this. If you want to get a little bit more manual about it, you can enable only export orders once. So, if I combine that with running this order every Monday this order is going to run, and it's just going to export the new orders that have been added this last week. Since this export obviously would have run last week, when it runs this week, it's just going to have the new orders in it. And then if we send that to Zapier, now we have like a weekly orders report, stuff like that. Very cool. So only export orders once. Very interesting tool to put in your toolbox. The rest of these are just kind of like advanced features. Down here, we have client mode. Client mode's pretty cool. So let's say you want somebody who's not an admin for your site to be able to go in, log into WordPress, and just run an export. You can't let them create a new export or edit an existing one, because if they do that, then they can run PHP, and then they can make themselves an admin and take over your site, right? So if you want them to be able to create new exports or edit exports, they really need to be an admin. But if you just want to let them run an export, you can go over here to settings, scroll down, and then you can just give their user role access to client mode. So let's say they're an editor, you select editor, go over here, enable this. Now, whenever your editors log in, they're going to see this export down here in manage exports. They can't access any other features, but they can just see this one export and any of the other exports you've enabled, and they can just view it and run it. Limited, but pretty useful if that's what you have to do. So yeah, that's how client mode works. Pretty simple stuff. Right. Okay. So let's run our export and see what we get. So we're exporting like 450 of these things. Let's let this run. It won't take long, but we'll let it run and we'll come back in a few seconds. All right. So our export is complete. Let's go ahead and download it. Check it out. There it is. There is our export. So that's all it takes to export orders with WPL export. Pretty simple stuff. Scheduling options are over here, external apps. So if you wanted to send your data to Zapier, check this out. That's how we get this done. We can also export, edit, and import. So this would be, let's say I wanted to edit all of my orders in Excel. You run an export, download it, edit in Excel, click this, import with WPL import, put the edited version of the file in, and then voila, all of your orders are now updated with the new information. Pretty cool stuff. The last thing down here is your secure URL. So you generate a URL, and then you can give this URL to anybody, or you can incorporate it in some PHP script or something. Every time you hit that URL, the most recent version of your export file is going to be downloaded. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's all it takes. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Check out the description below and our channel. We have tons of more content on importing and exporting data. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.